Hello, friends. Welcome back. It's Meg with Called to Homeschool. So excited to be here, wrapping up our 17th year of homeschooling. I'm super excited. I'm going to have my daughter, Tess. She's going to be on the podcast within the next few weeks, where she's going to talk about her homeschool experience. And she decided to graduate a year early. So, talking about what her thoughts were with homeschooling, some of her highs, lows. I love just having you see it from my children's point of view, because you only hear it from my point of view. So it's great to hear it from my kids as well. Things they love, didn't love. So make sure you are listening because that will be coming up soon. I was planning on doing this whole special episode about my marathon that was last weekend. And I've been talking about it and I've been posting about it and all things. And then what happened? I was not able to run it. So I have been going to the most amazing physical therapist this training season. And I've never really done this before, but I don't know if it's my age or what now, or just I have more time because I don't have a baby. But I decided to like commit and just really make sure everything was looking well. So I had booked like 6 sessions with him basically. So I was going every week with him and he was amazing. And I'd get a knot in my calf and he'd get it and work it out. And then he'd show me like you need to build muscle here so that you're stronger there, right? So he was just amazing. So I go to him the Thursday before my marathon, just like making sure everything looks good and make sure like rubbing out. He always rubbed out the arches of my feet and he always like made sure any knots in my calves and quads were just rubbed out. So he was just absolutely amazing. So we're going and I'm like, okay, this is feeling better. This is feeling better. But this foot is like weirdly bugging me. And he starts inspecting it and he goes, this is not right. And there was this, I don't know what it's called, but like a little ball, like this little fluidy ball on the top of my foot. And I knew it wasn't right, but I didn't think it was a problem. So he is like checking my foot and he's like, this is so tender to the touch. And this is really concerning. And then he's asking me, did you hit your foot? Did you do anything? And I recalled the week before, the Friday before my last long run, I hit into the corner of a wall. Nothing exciting, no like amazing story to go with it. I was walking downstairs and my husband has an office in our downstairs. So I was going downstairs to tell him something or like, hey, baby. And he wasn't even down there. And I hit into the corner of the wall. And we have a sweet 1970s home. And so it's those like really sharp corners. And I slammed my baby toe into it so hard, like dropped me to the floor, said some words I had to repent for, and just really hurt. And that night it was so tender to put on any shoes because we go on our date Friday nights. Then Saturday I had a 10-mile run. I was like, well, I'll just take some ibuprofen and like we'll be fine. And it was interesting because the toe didn't bug me too bad on the run, but that's when the weird thing on the top of my foot popped up. And I was in so much pain, but I just like didn't say anything because I know my family's feelings about marathon running. So I'm like, I don't want to give them any ammunition. I don't want to give them anything. So, anyways, I um, I'm just going throughout the week, like whatever, this is tender, this is kind of, it hurts, but the marathon week is here. And I'll just take my sister, another sister of mine who was a really good marathon runner, is like, take this many leave at the beginning. Then at mile 18 to 20, take this many Tylenol. And like, you'll be fine. You'll be feeling amazing. So that was kind of my plan to be able to do it and just like, okay, I just might have some pain and not a big deal. So, anyways, back to the physical therapist. He's inspecting my foot, right? And now he's like, okay, you hit it and then ran on it. And I ran a few times during the week too. And so he said, like, this, I am not comfortable with you running this marathon until you have an x-ray. I just want you to rule out anything broken so that you don't do permanent damage. You don't do anything where you would need surgery. He was being really great. And so I'm fighting tears. He's calling doctor's offices. Luckily, my neighbor is a family doctor and he was still at work. So I just texted him and said, anyway, I can hurry and get in for an x-ray, right? Like, I don't need a full exam. I don't need like nurses checking me. I just need the stinking x-ray. So he gets me in. So I bid adieu to the physical therapist with tears in my eyes, hurry and go to the MDs, get my x-ray. And I don't know if you've ever had a broken anything, but sometimes it's so thin that you really can't see it, right? Like it's such a hairline fracture that you can't tell if anything's there. And they're like, let me zoom in more and more and more. So he was really great. And he was checking the top of my foot because that's where that little fluid thing was. I'm sure it's just inflammation. And that baby toe, he goes, oh, look at that. And it was snapped. Like I hit it so hard into the wall that I just snapped my toe, like completely broke it. And I was like, it's just a baby toe though. Like, so I could still run it, right? And he was so nice and he's a friend and neighbor and whatnot. And he's like, well, technically, yes, you could run this, but the amount of pain you would be in would be astronomical. And then you might be coming back for me for us, and then like maybe even meeting with somebody else, a different specialist, to then do surgery because you've done so much damage to your foot. So like I'm crying. I leave. I like call my husband, I'm bawling, call the PT, tell him like, you were right, it is broken. I can't run my race. And then I had to call my sister that we were doing the race together. Like, this isn't happening. But I'm still gonna go up there with you, and I'm still gonna sleep over because it was in northern Utah, and like I'll still go do all the things. And so go and do it. Go like the Friday night before, we still had fun and went out to eat and went to the expo and did all the fun things. And it was that next morning as I'm dropping her off at the bus to go up to the start line. That's when she finally cries, like, you're really not coming. And then I cry again because I feel so bad. And I even packed all my marathon stuff with me just in case. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm going to have like this major prompting, like, just go for it, girl. You're going to be fine. I did not. Um, and so I didn't do it. And I instead decided to walk the 5K. And I thought, well, I'm running the last half mile. I'm running something. And it was really interesting because I've done a ton of races before. And I've only done a few 5Ks, but I've always done it with, I think just my kids is the only people I've ever done 5Ks with. So I've always had a buddy. And I didn't know 5K crowd is different than long race crowd because a long race crowd, it is very common for you to get separated and to be by yourself because you don't keep a pace for that long, the same pace, right? So in different Ironmans, I'd be like, hey, we're about the same pace. Do you want to run together, bike together? My first Ironman, the Oceanside Ironman, I biked with the kindest gentleman for like 20 miles. And he told me all about his family, and I told him all about my family and different races. Like, I'm always meeting people and talking to people. And the 5Kers, everybody came with a friend. And I tried to like, hey, how are you guys? And they'd be like, good. And then do their own thing, right? So I'm already kind of sad. I forgot my headphones. So I'm trying to talk to people, but everybody's with somebody, so they don't really want to. And I ran that last half mile and I thought, oh, that did hurt. That really, I didn't have any like ibuprofen or anything in my system. So I ran it and it totally was painful. And I thought, oh, that would have been bad. But then I was there when my sister finished and she did amazing. And it's just given me a lot of time to reflect on so many different things and whether or not I am like, I need to quit. And like, this is a sign from God that, hey, you hit into a wall and you broke your toe, you should just quit. Right. And is it that? Is it an obstacle to be overcome? And with all of this, I mean, I've been praying about it. And then on the 5K, nobody would talk to me. So, and I had no headphones and the sun's just coming up over the mountains. So it's beautiful. So just kind of have a prayer in my heart and just thinking about things. And all I could think about was you and amazing homeschoolers, that things are like, you have this desire. Like, I don't know why I have this crazy desire to do these endurance events, but I have this desire and you have this desire to homeschool. And then an obstacle hits and a broken bone, kids having a meltdown. Maybe it is a health issue for you or health issues for your kids. Maybe it's learning disability. Maybe you feel like you should be more organized or you feel you are too strict, right? And then it's interesting because you may even have outside influences of negativity. And it's been interesting because there are people in my life who totally don't agree with my love of distance running, right? And so there was no I told you so's, but there was a little bit of one of like, it's probably broke so easily because you run so much, right? And so it's really interesting because you may be getting that with a kid having a meltdown. And like, well, if you would just send them to school, you wouldn't be dealing with this headache. You wouldn't be dealing with these types of things. And so I'm not 100% sure where the future holds for me. I'm obviously not running. I'm in a really sweet walking boot for walking shoe, I guess is what they're called, for the next 3 weeks, and they get it x-rayed. But in the meantime, I thought, well, then I'm going to get really like serious with um, my nutrition and making sure I'm building muscle, even though I can't do some of the movements, right? I can do my road bike that's strapped in on my trainer because it doesn't really push a lot of weight on my foot. I can just use my quads more. So just like really as I'm trying to figure all of this out. And it was making me think about this this idea of just being able to go with things even when they don't go the way you were hoping. Even to be able to push through and figure out the obstacles and to overcome them and not let them completely shut you down. There it like, in my years of racings, I've been hurt other times before. As you can imagine, I've had 7 kids, and then I run a lot, and so it's pulled a ligament in my hip. I'm trying to think, one time I got such a bad bladder infection on a race that I went into my kidneys, so I got ended up with kidney infections. I've had different obstacles. If my nutrition isn't really dialed in, then I have other obstacles with that, right? So there's always gonna be obstacles in your homeschool. And what do you do when that time comes? And in the past, I've gotten angry. When I attempted my first Ironman and I was 1 minute too slow on the bike and I got pulled off the course and they wouldn't let me go do the run, I was livid. We grabbed my stuff. We were in St. George, Utah, which is like a 3.5 hour drive from my house. We grabbed my gear and got in the car. My husband's like, "Do you want to shower first?" And I go, "No." And like, I'm super chatty and I talk all the time. And I just sat there quiet, just angry, just fuming. Right. And different times when something doesn't go the way with racing, I get angry and like shut down and I don't want to talk about it. And so as this one's happened, I thought, okay, let's do something different. I have so many more skills now. And so just allowing myself to be sad and allowing myself to cry a lot and then adapting and figuring things out. I rarely wear shoes in my house. Maybe you just don't have shoes in your house. I don't have that rule. I just loved being barefoot. I absolutely love being barefoot. So like maybe I need to be more careful if I'm going to be barefoot all the time to protect my feet. But I didn't want to shut down and just start selling my stuff and getting rid of my stuff because I had this one obstacle. And I want to challenge you to do the same. If this last school year you had a lot of opposition, whether that was things didn't go quite well with your kids, things with negativity from outside voices, it's not a reason to quit. Those are just your obstacles, and you have to figure out a way over them, through them, around them, under them, whatever it is, so that you can keep doing. I feel like there is a reason God puts these desires in our heart. And when we and just because he puts a desire in our heart, years ago, I used to think that that meant that he was just going to pave the way and make it easy, but that's not how it works. And there will be opposition, but all of these oppositions are what make you better, are what make you stronger. And when I started homeschooling so many years ago, I had no idea the growth that I would have, right? And so I had opposition of a lot of little kids, right? I had 5 little kids when I started. Oppositions from kids throwing a fit, running away, kids dumping out all my flour multiple times, kids painting other kids in like Vaseline and Aquaphor and like diaper rash cream, whatever it is, right? Like lots of messes, lots of meltdowns, maybe kids fighting and just different opposition after opposition and not giving up. And that not giving up has helped me become such a better homeschool mom, helped me to connect with my kids. It led me to researching so much more. And so that's what I want to do with my health, right? Is take the same mindset and not give up, but can learn how to become stronger because of it and the person that I will become through this process. So I think, oh, now I forgot who says, I want to say it's Nietzsche or Carl Jung. I can't remember which one, but they talk about, I should have this quote ready. I'm sorry. If you have, oh, let me check this real quick. Okay, it was Nietzsche, and he said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." So there are going to be obstacles. But when you have that really strong why and this desire, like, I know this is right for my family. I want this family time. I want this connection. This childhood is so small. I want to protect that. Maybe your why is that you don't like what's being taught in schools, or a lot of parents I talk to with safety issues with different things in different schools. So when you have that strong enough why, you can keep pushing through anyhow, even though it may be so challenging in the moment. So, this is just my rah rah episode of Friends, You've Got This. And I know there are hard days. And I know sometimes you want to give up because I have been there too with so many, what in the beginning with homeschool, definitely, right? And now I'm just seeing it in different areas of my life. And I'm seeing God either giving me this opportunity to be back fresh with you in a different sense of Like homeschool doesn't feel hard for me now, but that this stuff with injury and whatnot feels challenging for me. So I can be at the same level with you of understanding this pain and this hard and like, do I really want to push on? And so I'm here. I'm your support. I'm loving on you always. Please, if you are stuck with any obstacle, always reach out to me and know that I'll just quote this one more time. He who has a why to, I'm actually going to switch it up. She who has a why to homeschool can bear almost any how. Friends, have an amazing week, and I will talk to you next time.